Welcome to Eureka Epoch, bringing Urantia Book insights to life through storytelling, visuals, and inspired exploration. Subscribe for more.
In the aftermath of the departure from the first garden, the first family of Adam and Eve was not as the world might have expected. Cain, their first child after leaving Eden, was not the biological son of Adam. His father was Cano, a noble and striking Nodite leader, an alliance conceived in the hope of uniting two peoples, but destined to leave a mark of tragedy. Abel, born less than 2 years later during the journey to the new Mesopotamian valley, the second garden, was the first true son of Adam and Eve, born in the shadow of their fall. Adam and Eve themselves were the founders of the pure violet race, fair-skinned, light-haired, and blue-eyed. Abel inherited this full heritage, bearing the stature and refinement of his Adamic bloodline. Cain's appearance, though handsome and strong, reflected a mingling of ancestries, violet from his mother and blue, red, and andonic strains from his Nodite father. The two boys grew up together, though their bloodlines and temperaments could not have been more different. Cain bore the restless, sometimes aggressive spirit of his father's people. Abel, the gentler disposition of Adam. They were joined in their childhood by Sansa, daughter of the Nodite woman Laoda, who was raised among them though not of Adam and Eve's blood. By adolescence, their paths had diverged. Abel chose the life of a herder, tending flocks and bringing the best of his animals as offerings in the Edenic religious rites. Cain turned to the soil, cultivating crops and presenting the fruits of his labor to the priests. Yet in those days, animal offerings were seen as more acceptable, and Abel's sacrifices drew favor, something Abel himself did not hesitate to remind his older brother. The rivalry deepened with time. By the time Cain was 20 and Abel 18, their mutual resentment had become dangerous. One day, Abel's cutting words pierced Cain's restraint, and in a burst of fury inherited from his bellicose lineage, Cain struck him down. Abel's death was sudden and final. When Abel's dogs returned alone from the fields, Adam and Eve knew something was wrong. The truth broke their hearts. They saw in Cain not just a murderer, but a living reminder of their own error and the tangled consequences of their choices. They urged him to leave the second garden, and Cain went into exile. Wandering among nearby tribes, Cain lived in fear and isolation, but something in him shifted. He returned to his mother, seeking counsel with sincerity for the first time. In that moment, according to the Urantia record, a divine thought adjuster came to dwell within him, giving him new clarity and purpose. Cain's life turned toward leadership, no longer driven by blind anger, but tempered by experience. Abel's life ended without descendants. Cain's line endured. The Urantia Book does not record Cain's death, only that he lived to see long peace between his people and Adam's. It is implied that his years were many, like those of the early patriarchs, and that he died an ordinary mortal's death. Spiritually, their story is more than a family tragedy. It is a lesson on the interplay of heredity and environment. Abel's noble inheritance was squandered by poor surroundings, while Cain overcame a violent nature through repentance and new purpose. It also distinguishes between evil and sin, between the flawed nature all mortals inherit and the conscious choice to rebel. In Urantia's telling, neither Adam nor Eve's default, nor Cain's violence, were acts of willful cosmic rebellion. They were human errors with human consequences, yet redeemable. In the tapestry of human races, Abel's death marked the loss of a pure violet branch, while Cain's survival gave rise to a prominent Nodite tribe. And in the spiritual arc, Cain's transformation stands as proof that even from bloodshed, peace can grow, and even in failure, the divine plan continues to work toward restoration.